Hello, this is Karen Hudes, and today is July 8th. I'm recording this in my room in Tokyo, Japan, which is where I have been for about 6 weeks. I came here in order to alert the countries, including Japan, of the decision that was taken at the spring meeting of the World Bank and International Monetary Fund to make the gold that is available in something called the Global Debt Facility, to make that gold available to the countries so that they can mint currency and replace their paper currencies, which have been charging interest to all of the world's population, which is a scam. And there's been a little bit of confusion. That's the purpose of this video, is to set this confusion straight. I wrote this letter on World Bank stationery, and I sent it to the 188 member countries of the World Bank, and I also sent it to some other smaller islands that are not members of the World Bank. And there are other countries such as Taiwan and North Korea, and they are also able to participate, because this offer is to all of the people on this planet who have been unfortunately misled and confused by a banking cartel that is bankrupt, insolvent, and it's going to be declared bankrupt by all the countries of the world, and it's going to be wound down. And that I can say that with certainty, because the World Bank is also a knowledge bank. In 2004, Jacek Kugler, a political scientist, came to the World Bank with a very accurate power transition model which predicts how coalitions will form. And there is a coalition which consists of many of the BRICS countries, many of the group of 77, which is actually over 130 countries that do not want to be dominated and controlled. The reason that the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund were set up in 1944 is because a visionary named José Rizal, who had stayed at the Vatican for many years but wanted to disassociate himself from the corruption there. He went back to the Philippines, which is where he was from. His father was Prince Talano, who was a twin of Queen Victoria. So José Rizal set up a trust fund. He used a brilliant young lawyer named Ferdinand Marcos, and he put all of the world's wealth in that trust fund for benefit of humanity. They set it aside for 50 years so that anybody who claimed that they were owners of this wealth would no longer be able to have a legal claim. That's something called the statute of limitations, and the 50 years expired in 2005, but unfortunately the banks ignored the person who had the signature authority over the trust fund, that is Wolfgang Struck. And so when Wolfgang saw that I was trying to end the corruption in the international monetary system, he came to me and said, "Karen, I would like you to also be my counsel." And so I'm working also as Wolfgang Struck's counsel, and the situation is that all of the gold of humanity has been put in this trust fund, and this trust fund is now available to all of the countries of the world. I wrote a letter, as I said, on World Bank letterhead. The reason that I could do that is because I was reinstated after the Board of Governors, which is the Ministers of Finance and Development, who are members of the Board of Governors of the World Bank, reinstated me in settlement of my bondholder lawsuit. And that happened on December 20th, 2012, but I was not able to assume my post because Allied Barton, which is owned by this banking cartel, is also the security guards. Well, Allied Barton was fired, but the firm that is to replace them was not able to assume their post until all of this corruption has been straightened out, and we're just about to do that. The disinformation is that the gold is from Japan. No, the gold is from this trust account, the Global Debt Facility, and I have put all of the documentation up on the internet in various interviews. If anybody is concerned about this, they can use my website to contact me. That is www.kahudes.net. And I have made a disbursement request to the World Bank executive directors. There's 25 of them. they know who they are, and if they're not willing to honor this disbursement request, and the purpose is to obtain funding so that we can have a decent closing ceremony when we conclude these monetary agreements. I've received phone calls from many of the embassies. I wrote to the ambassadors. If there's an ambassador who for some reason did not receive the letter that I wrote, it was dated June 26th, and I believe it landed in the embassies on the I think it was the 6th of July. Anyway, just send me an email, as I said, on my contact page, and I will send you another copy. And that is really the way things are. The chance that we, humanity, will take back our gold and use that gold to mint currency, and many people are concerned. They don't want a single world order, and that's not what this is. This is to allow each country to mint its own currency out of the gold, and there'll also be local currencies. We're going to have no legal tender laws, so that the currency will not be used as a control mechanism. The local communities can all mint their own currency and generate employment that way, in addition to the gold coins. And there's also a technology for spreading the gold very thin and making currency that is, for all practical purposes, paper, but as I said, it will have actual gold in that currency. So that's the purpose of this discussion, and I stand ready to answer any questions. Thank you.